Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions and the Almeida Racing Academy channel. This is the 5th round of Season 8 of the Almeida Racing League. The Formula 1600s providing fantastic action amongst the students of the Academy, and we're here at a track that we're pretty familiar with by this point. It's been visited a few times by the league in previous seasons, Tsukuba circuit. Really looking forward to how this one's going to pan out. We started the season, of course, at Mosport, Oschersleben, and Lime Rock Park the first couple of rounds after that, then Ledenhall just last week. Certainly was a fun one with the 60-minute format that required a pit stop. That won't be needed today at Tsukuba. Virginia International Raceway is next week, then Okayama and Circuit Gilles Villeneuve to round out the first 8 rounds of the championship. Just a few more to go after that at Navarra, Rudskogen, and the second endurance round of the season at Brands Hatch. Keep an eye out in week 13 because there will be a special event that we'll run here at Pit Road Productions, and everyone in this league is invited to it. So let's see what we can do about that. The format for tonight: we have 60 minutes of practice. Qualification of 15 minutes is currently underway. We are going to have 3 15-minute races to go here today, which should be over in quite a short amount of time, considering a lap at Tsukuba takes place in less than a minute. Bringing it to you live, of course, is myself, Reese Gardner, with John Wright alongside me in the commentary box. Daniel Zippy Salmon is in here in the box with us too, but he's recently had some rather terrible medical issues which have kept him out of action for today, so we'll allow him to take a bit of a rest on the voice. John, how you going?
Going to do is no shade will be thrown Daniel's way this week for at least 3 months as a mark of respect. So yeah, but yeah, not very much looking forward to getting stuck in tonight. The open wheelers, I mean, I couldn't wax more lyrical last time we were here. And Tsukuba, if you don't absolutely adore this track for racing, I'm not sure you fully understand what racing is, Reese, to be honest.
Yeah, true. I first encountered this track in Gran Turismo 4. It's a track with quite a bit of history as well. Built in the 1960s and considered the birthplace of time attack racing, which is a fun little fact. Got a great variety of corners, 3 hairpins, some flowing corners in between them, and a very fast final corner, which is going to test the mettle of these drivers. Mechanical grip is everything around here, and that's basically all the F1600 has.
Exactly, and I'll tell you, interesting geek fact. Japanese tracks are so well designed, Reese, I would wager that every single GT3 track or open wheel track in Japan has had less changes combined than most British tracks like Silverstone.
That's actually a really good point. Never thought about that.
That is how good these tracks are. They stand the test of time. In a world where everything changes, Japanese racing is absolutely the jewel in the crown. Tell me Turn 1 at Suzuka isn't one of the greatest in the world.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. In fact, every turn at Suzuka, some of the greatest in the world. And worth pointing out, Tsukuba has had the same layout since like 1967 or something like that. Really fantastic.
1970. That's the last time. That was when it was actually put together and first raced. So it has stood at the test of time. There's been a minor change, and of course the addition of the 1000 course, which is just less than a mile long, a twisty, a go-kart track on steroids. I think we can say that one. That is a fun little course. But yeah, I mean, Tsukuba, it stood the test of time for a very good reason, and I'm hyper excited to see how good these drivers are on the brake and accelerator, because carrying momentum in these little machines is going to be the absolute key here, I would say today, Reese.
Yes, certainly will. Before we get into the action, though, we should check out those points and see how things are going in the drivers' standings. So we've got the Premier and the Club class to take a look at, as well as the Academy overall, which is where we're going to start things off coming into this round. Timothy Ing is the one on top of those standings, but Ian Joyner is right behind him, basically. 449 points. Kevin Lau rounding out your top three, with Jeffrey Adkins, Max Vidorn, and Ivan Holiday rounding out your top six. When we move over to the Split 1 Premier standings, we'll see a lot of the same drivers at the top. Ing, Joyner, and Lau still your top three, but Jeremy Childers and Philip Falcon rounding out your top five, with Bas van der Leij, Rupesh Paneni, Anthony Ori, Leon Bentvelsen, and Jakob Chepley rounding out your top 10. That's the overall standings in Split 1. When we isolate the club class, we see that Philip Falcon has quite the advantage over Anthony Ori and Rich Meesters. Philip has certainly had a fantastic time at in this particular car, which is fantastic to see. Well, we run ourselves into qualifying now, as you see all of those F1600s buzzing around the racetrack, and presently on top is Ian Joyner, but seeing a couple of other names closer to the front of the field. Kyle Diaz-Castro, he hasn't exactly had the success in the F1600 that he had in the MX-5s, but he is absolutely on it here today at Tsukuba. He is in second spot behind or ahead of Jeremy Childers and Bas van der Leij. Zdenek Hamak still unclassed from last week, but still running very well in the top five. Rupesh Paneni and Philip Falcon rounding out your top six as it stands. And well, if Zdenek Hamak ends up being classed in Premier, Philip Falcon currently has the club class pole. Only a minute or so left in qualifying, which means start your final lap now. There's only one left.
Indeed, yeah, just checking on where we have the classification. We'll get that on very, very shortly indeed. But as you'd expect, the times up at the top, absolutely just mind-blowingly close. 4,000ths of a second separating 6th and 7th. That's Falcon up in 7th place there. 4,000ths, and Kevin Lau has set exactly the same time as Philip Falcon, but he set it second. So he will start behind if things stay as they stand. So to say it's close is beyond an understatement. I think that's you and O'Leary. I think you would agree, Reese. You and O'Leary levels of understatement there. He is the king of the aforementioned. And yeah, ridiculously close. So this is going to be absolutely wild. And a couple of races for the drivers to get used to the track and one another round here. So all kinds of entertainment on the cards.
Indeed. And just like that, qualifying is over, and everyone will disappear off the track. Big old Thanos snap right there, and we can get into the grid for race 1 here today. Ian Joyner is on pole position. Kyle Diaz-Castro joining him on the front row, with Jeremy Childers and Bas van der Leij on the second row. Zdenek Hamak and Rupesh Paneni on row 3. Philip Falcon has the club class pole, at least from what we can see. Kevin Lau alongside him. Todd Bonesteel gets into the top 10 for I think the first time this season. Great performance there, with Dominicus Consavicius rounding out your top 10, and it looks like we've just had it confirmed by Zippy in the background. Zdenek Hamak is Premier, so Philip Falcon does have that club class pole.
Indeed, yes, we will get that fixed up in the background. For some reason, standings deciding they don't want to move. But moving further down the order, it's Arniel that's in 11th place, Brian Lons in 12th position, Manuel Hofer in 13th. He's on row 7 with Michael Kors, Anthony Ori and Charles Krasik. 15th and 16th, with Rich Meesters and Josh Nessel in 17th and 18th position. We do have the drivers starting to grid their way up. It's Ian Joyner that's going to take us off for our standing start this evening, Reese. It's going to be some quick laps, as you say. They're going to get a lot done in a short space of time over the race. And we're certainly going to see a lot of overtaking action. With it being such a short course, we may even see some blue flags towards the end of both of the races.
Yeah, most likely. That's going to be something to keep an eye out for, especially considering we have got 27 drivers in the Split 1 server here, and they are starting round the final corner at the back of the grid. So that's certainly going to be interesting to see. We are receiving word also that Lance Tamashiro in 19th spot is technically not meant to be in Split 1, but, well, that'll be a little wild card for us to deal with. Let's get into it then. Grid time is over, and we now have the revs rising as the race starts. And round 5 is go of Season 8 of the Almeida Racing League. A great start from Ian Joyner, Jeremy Childers and Carl Diaz-Castro fighting each other for second spot through turn 1. Some big racing going on a little further back. Vanderlei, Hamak, Lau and Falcon all side by side. Lots of jostling further back here. I believe Anthony Ori and Charles Krasic round about that area as they all just struggled to get into the left-hand hairpin for the first time. Bit of contact further back. Looked like Nathan Safarian was falling back slightly. But other than that, reasonably clean start, John. And Ian Joyner is skipping away. 0.6 of a second in the lead now.
Indeed, yeah, short course and a very, very, very quick start by Johnny. You can see there visibly that's 0.6 of a gap, although Diaz-Castro looking to mimic that gap, with the gap back to Childers, who's got a lot of cars in his slipstream. Can't confirm Kyle Diaz-Castro does seem to have had a bit of a dent at the start of the race. Arneo, Hoffer, Cruciani and Safarian as well, all having little dents and scrapes on the opening lap. They're just off the start finish line, so a couple of cars getting bogged down. I think not quite getting the start procedure massively correct and finding themselves dropping a couple of positions. Castro has certainly done well after whatever that opening incident was. In fact, we'll jump on a replay and see what it is exactly. Oh no, we seem to be stationary. My apologies, Reece, but it does say here that Kyle Diaz-Castro was involved in a crash. I certainly didn't see anything at the start. A lot of wheel spin, pulls out the turn at number 1. Did he miss a bit of contact here potentially? It's a really good move over that inside line.
Yeah, certainly is. Lots of room given, and that's where he secured it. I think there might have been maybe a tiny bit of contact in the first braking zone, but Kyle is still very much in second spot. He hasn't lost anything thus far out of this race. The battle for third is starting to heat up, though. You see Jeremy Childers getting harassed by Rupesh Paneni there as Zdenek Hamak watches on in the background there. Rupesh making a good start, going up from 6th to 4th, and in fact he's traded spots quite nicely with Bas van der Leij, who started 4th and is now 6th. So that's a complete and utter swap between those two as the race goes on. 15-minute races here, which means we should expect 16 laps, considering the lap times are generally under a minute in length here. That's a little bit wide for Childers, though, at the hairpin. That lets Paneni up the inside on the exit, and it's going to be a drag race between these two competitors down to the final corner. Paneni just edging ahead. I think Childers may have lifted off slightly just to allow him to take that position and lose as little time as possible, because there's a big angry group of drivers right behind looking to take advantage.
Oh, they absolutely are indeed. Hamak having a look up the inside of turn at number 1. Not going to quite be close enough. He's certainly going to get the nose very close indeed to Childers ahead of him. So Childers will be fully aware that Hamak is here to take himself a position or two if he can. And Kevin Lau, as you can see, oh, he's gone sideways. He's absolutely sideways. He's reversing off the side of the track, and that is done and dusted. And yeah, very quickly. Was not expecting that there, Reece. That came absolutely out of the blue, but that is Hamak. He spun the car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looks like Bas van der Leij went on the brakes, checked up nicely, but Philip Falcon ended up really losing out. You'll see Falcon in the pink car right there. As Hamak spins, Falcon comes in, and there is nowhere for him to go. Remember, that's our club class championship leader in jeopardy now.
Indeed it is, yeah, and there was a few more drivers caught up in that. I'm getting, of course, Darren Sharples and Vorpal were involved in that as well. It looks like Sharples not got the tires working.
Yeah, oh dear, yeah, that does seem to be the case. Currently sat down in pit lane is Darren Sharples in car 777, and he already has damage. That's the left rear that's gone for him. And, well, not much more to say about that other than he picked up damage somewhere and it got him later on in the lap.
Yeah, it really did. He got caught up in that. The concertina effect around here, I mean, let's be under absolutely zero illusions. This is a great track to race around, but as we mentioned, it is very short. It's not the longest of lap times by any means necessary. And you can really lose yourself a whole lot of time finding yourself off the track. Everyone catching up. It's been... Sorry, I'm looking down the order here. I'm trying to pick out an overtake to look at here at the moment. We've got Bonesteel and Kevin Lau absolutely going at it hammer and tong. But Jeremy Childers here, he really has got himself a very, very, very good run at the moment. And the two drivers ahead of him, especially Diaz Castro, he could be a little bit nervous here because, yeah, the third driver in the equation, as we saw last week, is often the best positioned. And yeah, there could be an extra impetus to get the overtake done here early and become the hunted, rather than the hunted around here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Childers is playing this quite smartly, honestly. He knew that the move was on when Paneni got past him, and he's managed to stay close enough to get the slipstream down these straights, but looks like the gap is starting to increase just a little bit lap on lap. Very close lap times, though, between all of them. Diaz Castro, a 58.5 on the previous lap. Let's see what it's like across the line this time. 58.49 from Diaz Castro, 58.4 also from Rupesh Paneni, and a 58.5 from Childers. The lap time's very well matched at the moment, and it looks like Ian Joyner is setting roughly the same pace, but he's already built up enough of a lead that it looks pretty unassailable from this point.
It does, yeah. These drivers here, the battle that they are certainly the battle that we are enjoying, and they're, I'm sure, sweating their way through. It's playing right into the hands of Joyner. That 1.8 seconds of a gap, only 6 minutes into the race. It's absolutely his to lose at this point. The drivers behind seem, I mean, for our sake, I hope this continues between the three of them, and I'm sure Joyner is going to be in exactly the same boat at this point in time race because, Diaz Castro is losing time hand over fist to Joyner ahead, and I do think it's only a matter of time before he loses a position here. I mean, how long can he fend off these cars? The amount of data that the drivers behind are collating on him at the moment and where he goes in each corner, because it's such a short track, they've got plenty of data to analyse and know where they're going to be stronger and where they're weaker. So yeah, I think Diaz Castro is in for a real test for the next 8 minutes we've got left here.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Zippy in the background has access to the driver cams, so let's see what it's like on board with Kevin Lau in 6th spot at the moment. He's still involved in the battle with Bas van der Lee, Todd Bonesteel, and Dominicus Consavicius, but that's a slide from the number 7 of Diaz Castro, and it looks like the move might be on here for Paneni to try and get into 2nd place. There's not much overlap between them at the moment, but a better run for Paneni into the final corner. Diaz Castro lets him have it. They brush wheels and nose cones and gearboxes, and there's nothing for Jeremy Childers to do. Great one from Rupesh Paneni. He has gotten himself into 2nd spot, and by some margin as well, not enough of a margin for Diaz Castro to be completely out of it, though. Let's see what's happening a bit further down in the field. Kevin Lau is certainly having a go at things at the moment. Todd Bonesteel is all over the back of him to try and get into the top 6, and as I said in qualifying, it's been a really good performance from Todd Bonesteel. He's usually been in the midfield or so, roughly outside the top 10. I think that this particular track has really smiled on him. We're looking at them right now. Kevin Lau in the red number 88, Bonesteel just behind him, but it's Bas van der Lee who holds on to the 5th position, at the moment.
Yeah, just getting some more information in the background as well with some of the drivers getting them reclassified. We'll get the driver cams on as well, I believe, very shortly, but we'll keep watching the racing. We've only got 6 minutes of this one left to go racing. Yeah, Diaz Castro losing that position and finding himself now with an uphill battle, and they do have a bit of gap back Tobaz there in 5th position. Lau is looking very quick, as we can see, with Bone Steel trying to make their way into the top 10. And with this being such a short track as well, Reese, all it takes is the slightest slip up by anyone, and we could see Conservicius here in 8th position, because he's only half a second down on this group, so he is in no way, shape or form out of this. And Arneo and Hoffer as well, they're keeping good time with the two-man slipstream they've got going there, so they could still get themselves involved if anybody does get a little too rambunctious.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of rambunctious, it looks like the second place battle is starting to rage on a little bit more. Diaz Castro was almost back past Rupesh Paneni, but had to give the position back up into the final corner, and this resulted in those guys battling for second, losing a bit of time to this group we're looking at, this 4-car train for 5th place. There's Diaz Castro now, and you see that Childers is all over the back of him, and Paneni is under a lot of pressure as well. And just like that, there's some more trouble further back in the field. Josh Nessel and Zdenek Hamak apparently have had a big coming together at the left-hand hairpin, and we'll see it right here, side by side on the way through. And there was just a little touch. Charles Krasic getting absolutely sent into the wall, and that's further troubles for Philip Falcon there as well. Josh Nessel was right on the scene. That's resulted in a few drivers probably very unhappy with how things have gone there. That was quite the incident.
Indeed it was, yeah, and strangely it didn't show that Hamak had an incident there. We will be looking at, there'll be a severe stewards inquiry into that one. That is clearly Hamak in the wall. Kevin Lau was very much on the scene as well. He came round the corner, there was debris everywhere. There we go, we do have his driver cam on.
Yeah. Oh dear, that's far from ideal. And I mean, Kevin apparently has features of stone, because he didn't react at all to that incident. Kevin is certainly having a couple of problems here. Dominikos Conservicius has found his way up into 6th spot now, and Todd Bonesteel rounding out your top 5. A mild coming together, it has to be said.
Yeah, whoa, there we go, cold, very close to turn number 1 there. Everyone breathe in, everyone survived. That was incredibly close there. Conservicius almost found in his car with, well, an F1600 shaped rear spoiler mounted on the back of his car there. He almost had a roof on that car over his helmet. It is incredibly close. The tyre wear, of course, will be minimal, but we're only playing a slight part in this. We've only got 2.5 minutes left to go, and some absolutely incredible battles. We do still have 24 cars left out on track. Unfortunately, a couple of them out. Hamak, one of them, Darren Sharples as well, after that very early incident. Nessel bringing up the rear of the field. And then this grouping here, Reese, is absolutely incredible. Safarian leading the way with Kamishiro, Saunders, Ryan, Vorpal, all very close indeed.
Yeah, this is a really nice battle, and it's all for 18th spot. These guys are racing like it's for the win on the final lap. It's fantastic to see. Vorpal at the tail end of the fight for the moment, but Norman Rinner up ahead of him, not having the best exit from the final corner. Steve Saunders has a front row seat to the fight between Tamashiro and Safarian, and that's just gone off completely. Contact between Tamashiro and Safarian. And remember, Lance isn't even supposed to be in this split. We're not sure what split he's supposed to be in, but yeah, that was far from ideal. Once again, just seems like these incidents are exploding out of nowhere, and the fight is still going on for for second spot. And we do apologize. It's just come to our attention that Lance is in Split 1 Club, so he is meant to be here today, but ultimately the race has not gone his way.
Indeed, I will get that tidied up for the second race. which will be coming along very, very shortly indeed. I mean, I think Ian Joyner is already on lap 4 of the second race, Reese. Can confirm 6.5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field with 45 seconds left to go. He's already checked out, he's popped the cork on the champagne, and he is 3, 4, 5 laps deep into the next race. Yeah, got to be a hot favourite to win. Yeah, to completely clean up tonight with fastest laps, race wins, the whole shooting match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always interesting to see Ian Joyner out in front. He's one of the best drivers in the academy at the moment. He's always been on just some extra level compared to other drivers. And the F1600, you know, these lower class cars that require a lot more technical driving know-how and ability to manage weight transfer and such. He's always been good at that. The F1600 suiting himself very nicely. It is the last lap of the race though, and Joyner is enjoying a lead of nearly 7 seconds now. The battle's still raging behind though. Pineni, Diaz-Castro and Childers, they are still together, and this is the last opportunity for a mistake to take advantage of, but all of them get a clean exit out of the hairpin. So that just leaves Ian Joyner all on his lonesome out in front to take the first win of the day here at Tsukuba, and in an absolutely dominant fashion as well. Fastest lap, pole position, leading every lap. I mean, that's about as close to a hat trick as you can get. Rupesh Pineni ends up defending from Diaz-Castro and Childers to round out second and third places. Ilariano just keeping Manuel Hofer behind him there for 7th spot. And we have to go all the way back to Kemal Kasim in 18th to see the next battle as Cruciani crosses the line. Oh, this is looking interesting. Side by side almost there. Norman Rinne nearly getting past Kemal Kasim out of the final corner. But I think there's a few drivers down the back of the field that would be very happy to see the back of that first race. It was a really tough one for drivers in the mid and lower field. So, the results then. It was Ian Joyner by 7.2 seconds in the end, winning the first race from, actually 7.011 seconds from Rupesh Pineni, with Kyle Diaz-Castro finishing in third, Jeremy Childers and Todd Bonesteel rounding out your top 5. Then it was Kevin Lau, Ilariano and Manuel Hofer, your top 8. Flip them, and that's going to be your top 8 for the start of race 2, an inverted top 8 for the next race grid. Consavicius and Ori rounding out your top 10. Ilariano ultimately taking the club class win.
Indeed, yeah, very... Oh, sorry, yes, on you go.
Yeah, all good. I just noticed there isn't much time left on the gridding for the second race, so I think we should get straight into it there. We see Hofer starting on pole ahead of Arnio, Lau, Bonesteel, Childers, Diaz-Castro, Pineni, and Joyner, with Consavicius and Ori rounding out your top 10. And just like that, the revs are starting to rise, and we are about to get things going once again. What can Manuel Hofer do from the lead here? Nice start, immediately moving over to the middle of the racetrack to try and block any runs into turn 1. It is on between Kevin Lau and Ilariano, but Lau absolutely diving into the first turn, almost challenging for the lead. Remember, Lau is one of Ian Joyner's closest competitors this season, and he needs to take advantage of this to take some points away from him up the inside at the hairpin, and managing to just get the move done, maybe, almost, still has to stay wide into the right-hander, and Manuel Hofer now is in trouble because he has got a huge swarm of cars all looking to grab those positions off him.
Oh, yep, Diaz-Castro absolutely in the thick of things, and Ian Joyner very much in the thick of things as well. He's had a good solid start. He's made up a position as Bonesteel that's dropped down the order. We have had a reported crash with Kevin Lau. I'm not sure that's fully correct. Again, we saw him on camera there, absolutely as calm as a coma. We may need to get someone round there with a defibrillator just to make sure he still does actually have a pulse going, because that is quite frankly ridiculous. If they can teach that, oh no, it's going from bad to worse. Hamak again, Reese, and it's with his teammate.
Oh. Ouch. That is a big hit there. Not entirely certain which driver he made contact with, but that's going to be race ended in the pits for Zdenek, at least until he can get it back out there once the tow time's complete. Well, the fight at the front of the field, I mean, just look at how close everyone is. The top 25 cars of our 27 are within a second of each other, and it's going off for third. See Jeremy Childers and the blue and white machine almost getting alongside Ilarianio. It's a proper snake of Formula 1600s coming down this straight. It's insane.
It really is. Whether you look off the front of the car or look off the back of the car, it is an absolutely glorious view for any racing fan. We're 3 laps deep and there is less than 3/10 separating any 2 drivers in consecutive order. Look at the way the Concertina are up there in turn number 1. That might be the saving grace for some of the drivers up at the front here is indeed the Concertina going on, and I tell you what, there's no Concertina there. That is a 2-wide situation through the middle of the lap, and Ian Joyner is absolutely loving what he is seeing ahead of him now. He is caught up. The reverse order grid has not stalled him in any way, shape or form. He's made up a position from the start, and he is absolutely in the hunt here while being hunted by over half the field as well.
Yeah, everyone's still super close here at the end of lap 3. The slipstream is really working well for all of these drivers behind Kevin Lau right now, who still holds onto that lead by about 1/10 of a second from Manuel Hoffa. But it looks like Manuel is starting to get a bit racy. He's getting into the back of Kevin Lau in a couple of spots. So we'll see just how much that compresses this fight. Ian Joyner at the moment behind Kyle Diaz-Castro and nice and smooth on the brakes, gently turning into this slightly banked hairpin. We will see if he can end up making a move here. This has been the issue though for Ian Joyner in the first few rounds of this season. He didn't qualify as well as he would have liked, and he ended up getting stuck a little behind other cars. So it's difficult for Joyner to actually make those moves. This time we're seeing it in race 2. I gotta say, I'm interested to see what kind of moves Joyner can put on here. We've still got 11 minutes to go on the race, so there's no rush right now, but those 11 minutes are going to go by very shortly.
Oh, indeed they will. Indeed they will. They will go back. Although, will they go very quickly indeed, Reese? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to bring a point of information to the floor for us to digest. How quickly is it going when you can see 17 cars ahead of you and 17 cars behind you, even when there isn't that many cars in front of you? Oh, there's a bit of a mistake there, and Joyner, he's almost got a swap of positions with the car behind him there. Bone Steel and Conservicius almost causing themselves a bit of a coming together, and Joyner has now got himself double trouble. But yeah, how quickly can the laps go, Reese, if you are constantly under pressure the way these drivers are? This is incredible stuff.
Yeah, it really is. I guess the silver lining for Joyner is he has some space ahead of him to take advantage of the slipstream more effectively. But yeah, the pressure must be insane that these guys are going through. Oh no, that's a problem. Bone Steel has gone off, and I'm not entirely sure where that's taken place, but that's just resulted in an explosion of action and quite a few drivers moving up an extra position. Bone Steel is still rolling, but apparently a big problem into the final corner. How on earth did he end up all the way out there?
Yeah, no previous incident. Oh, wait a minute, he came back on track. Okay, sorry, went off track, my apologies. I was looking. Yes, he's just ran it wide, put a wheel on the gravel, and no est bueno. I would say that one not gone down well. I mean, wow, Tsukuba is absolutely merciless. As short and as fun and quick as it is, if you're not exactly in the flow around this track, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it looks to me like I just looked at what was leading up to that incident. Dominicus Conservicius was right behind Bone Steel, and I think he might have spooked Todd into braking too late into the final corner, and that's why he was all the way out on the outside of the final turn. So I don't know. I guess it was a bit of a mind punt from the number 9.
Using the force. The Force is strong with this one, the Jedi Knight. Oh, and there we go. Oh, I'll tell you what, this is absolutely incredibly close. Ian Joyner just on the periphery at the moment. I'll tell you what, double overtake there, just waiting. But I mean, no, I was going to wait to use the old bird in the hand is worth two in the bush type scenario here, but Ian Joyner's not thinking that at all, is he? He's thinking my main rival, Kevin Lau, is, and I can confirm, is as calm as a coma up at the front. Oh my goodness me. There we go.
A little bit big there.
Yes, we've given them my apologies, although no apologies necessary. I mean, I think that gives us a beautiful look at just how calm he is. I mean, look at this. Yeah, it's almost disgusting. I'm not sure. As a mediocre driver myself, Reese, I'm not sure I approve of this.
Yeah, indeed. It's something we, Zippy and I, have grown used to seeing from Kevin. He's just full concentration all the time. No change in his expression, no emotion being shown. But I suppose on the other side of that coin, it means that he is putting a lot of effort into driving as quickly as he can here at the front of this field. Still not entirely free of those behind him. You see popping up in his mirrors side to side Manuel Hofer. And Hofer is really the closest driver to him right now. I love the T-cam view as well. Really gives us a sense for the steering inputs here. Just look at that little bit of oversteer on the way into the final corner. This car is one of those machines that you need to slide a little to get the best out of, and Kevin's demonstrating that very nicely.
Yep, he absolutely is. I did mention it at the start. It's all about, I feel, precision when you're using the accelerator and brake. Just carrying momentum. Look at that. Oh my goodness me. They're 2x2 Noah's Ark style.
Whoa.
In the background. That is a whole lot of overtaking that is potentially on its way. I mean, the stands are going to be changing. And I was going to bring us a replay of Todd Bonesteel. He's actually had a double incident, went off track, and I think he has collected more than just a few parts of the wall race. But the drivers here, somebody's collecting a couple of positions, and I think it's about to be Ian Joyner sending one up the inside.
Oh, but he gets parking on the apex in front of him there, Carl Diaz Castro. So Joyner was slightly compromised, and ultimately Childers gets back ahead, and it looks like he's ahead of the both of them as they come into the final corner. This is going to be interesting to see how it works out. Joyner, it looks like, still side by side with Kyle Diaz Castro, and Kyle moves to defend into turn one. Joyner has to back out of it again. Big oversteer then from the number 7, and that will leave Joyner just looking at those cars disappearing into the distance and wondering what might have been.
Indeed, yeah, the opportunities are certainly presenting themselves. The drivers, various amounts of luck managing to make them stick, and Ian Joyner looking to get himself a second race win here. He got a position there at Darren Sharples has had an incident. I'll tell you what, actually, while we've got a slight moment of calm, we'll see what's happened to... Oh no, sorry, so is this the same incident?
Yes, I believe it is.
Oh.
It's the same incident that we saw before. So I think the incident tracker might be playing games with us at the moment. We'll keep our eyes on Joyner. Yeah, indeed. Joyner was very deep into the final corner there, almost got into the back of Diaz Castro, and he goes beyond the green concrete and onto the grass. That's not the ideal line out of the last corner. We got 6 laps remaining in this race, 5 minutes on the clock, and now is the time you have to start thinking about positioning yourself to make those moves. But I think from what we've seen in race 1, and in some ways race 2 as well, is the moment you start going side by side, you just start bleeding time. So what do you do?
That is the eternal catch-22 around this course in these cars, it would seem, Reece. You're absolutely right. You can catch up and you're just absolutely chasing. Can you, the drivers find a chink in the armour? They were so closely matched in qualifying. I mean, 3 drivers separated by 0.008 of a second, and 2 of them had set the exact same time. So it's just incredibly close between the field. They've all absolutely been on the practice mats, getting to know the scores, getting to know the track limits. Even Joyner, who we saw 6 seconds, he won 6.8 seconds. He won race number 1 by 6.8 seconds, and now we are 11 minutes into this race, and there's only 0.3 of a second separating the top 2. And Kevin Lau it still looks like he is out casually doing a recce run on the track. Not a care in the world, while Manuel Hofer is applying the pressure like an absolute madman, trying to overturn Kevin Lau's dominance after getting that very early lap 1 overtake done race. It's been a masterclass from Lau, and the rest of the field, a masterclass in how to battle and go side by side around Tsukuba with Joyner, trying to get the move done on Childers.
Yeah, indeed. Now Joyner is alongside Childers again, finally. But Dominicus Concevicius has really caught up to them, so he can take advantage of this if he plays his cards right. Joyner just squeezing at the inside of Childers there on the exit of the final corner. Doesn't quite get the run he needs to clear him before turn 1, but the inside line will work out all right. Childers tries to go deep to keep it going, but a little bit of oversteer will put him behind Concevicius as a result. And now, at the conclusion of all of that side-by-side slicing and dicing, there's a little bit more space between our top 2 and the battle for third. And it looks like, now that the race is in its last 4 laps, Hofer starting to build the pressure a little more on Kevin Lau. I am almost certain that there's going to be an attempt on the final lap.
Indeed, yeah, we're going to think a little bit outside of the box here. I know we're on board with Hofer's car. We're going to stay off the T-bar though. We're going to look at Kevin Lau's camera. Does anybody have a cattle prod? Is Kevin awake? Is Kevin from another planet? Is it Planet Sim Racing? And does he have USB slots in his armpit? I mean, he is, and you can see just every time he pulls into a corner, he just perfectly, look at him glancing using the rear view mirror, the side mirror, complete and utter situational awareness of everything that's going on. And he has Manuel Hofer. I mean, he can literally count the number of tear-off strips that Manuel Hofer still has on his helmet in the race right now, and just absolute precision driving. It is beyond a masterclass race, and I think it's one of the reasons I enjoy commentating so much. I've tried to race, yeah, let's leave it there. Seeing this type
oh dear.
Seeing this type of masterclass is just absolutely incredible, and I love it in open wheelers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll find our way to the white flag. Final lap is beginning. Actually, no, I don't think it is. There's 1 minute and 10 seconds still left on the clock, so that tells me there's going to be 2 laps to go. So that's going to be another lap that Manuel Hofer waits to make the move on Kevin Lau. But for now, a little bit of a closer eye on Lau's lines, and worth noting that the battles behind are still incredibly intense. Ilariano is putting on a great drive at the moment, keeping Diaz Castro and Ian Joyner behind him, and it looks to me like there's going to be potentially a few moves to be made on the penultimate lap in that battle for 4th place. But look at how close Manuel Hofer is getting to Kevin Lau. Under 30 seconds remaining on the clock, and it will be the final lap this time by. Now is the point where Manuel Hofer, he's been learning all the way through this race. This is where he starts to get those, or actually put that learning into practice.
Yep, can he bring himself home? Oh, a cheeky little race win here. It's going to be well deserved if he can, because I tell you what, Kevin Lau has been absolutely precision personified up at the front of the field, and that is testament even more to the fact that Ian Joyner, race winner by an absolute country mile in race number 1, is absolutely bogged down here in 6th position. He could still finish in 4th though, and Arneo, beautiful to see, one of the club drivers up inside the top 5. That is the beauty of Tsukuba. But I tell you what, Diaz Castro, oh, we're going to make that very close indeed. Ian Joyner might get forced into an overtake race, whether he likes it or not. Little bit of a wiggle, almost swapping positions there.
Yeah, you see Childers and Ori battling behind, but up the front, Kevin Lau has managed to gap Manuel Hofer. It is now 0.5 of a second between these two out of the final corner, and here comes Kevin across the line, winner of race 2, and beautifully done. Ian Joyner ends up finishing 6th in the end. He spent that whole race just short up behind Kyle Diaz Castro, and Philip Falcon, how about a recovery? Don't forget that Falcon was started 7th for race 1, ended up finishing 14th after a crash. It didn't quite go as smoothly for him still in race 2, but still gained 2 spots to finish P12. So I think he should be pretty happy with how that went down. Last couple of drivers to come across the line. It's just Nathan Safarian yet to cross it. There he is, that little speck in the distance, and that makes the results official. Kevin Lau by 5/10 over Manuel Hofer. That is your race win. Rupesh Paneni getting onto the podium after starting P7. He was aggressive early on and it paid off. Ilariano in 4th with Carl Diaz Castro rounding out your top 5. Ian Joyner finishes 6th ahead of Conservicius, Childers, Ori, and Brian Lenz rounding out your top 10. Pretty good day for the club class drivers there.
Indeed, yep, 2 of them in the top 10. Absolutely love to see it. Charles Krasik taking a club class podium in 11th position. Falcon in 12th with Meisters in 13. We've got Baz in 14th position. Keep forgetting the rest of his surname, which is very embarrassing. We've got Kors in 15th, Kuchiani, and Saunders 16th and 17th, Rien, Bruges, and Vorpal at 19th and 20th position. And yeah, all the way down to Safarian. So 25 of the 27 drivers making it home. It's Van der Lee, of course it is. Thank you very much. It's always good to have Daniel in the background. He has been congratulating me on my pronunciations. It's good to know that the colonies are keeping up to date and understand how it's done properly. So yeah, thank you very much for the correction, Daniel.
Oh, good Lord.
That's going... Daniel.
Well, that's going to round things off here for the first 2 races. We're in warm-up at the moment, which gives us an opportunity to step back for a second and have a word from the Almeida Academy.
He's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real-world superstar, Suelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners because the model I have in the sim. Just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Suelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Wait a race, buddy, wait a race.
Welcome back, everybody. Fantastic first couple of races here at Tsukuba. Once again, I am Reese Gardner. John Wright in the producer's box, commentating races 1 and 2, but Zippy's back. He's going to be calling race 3 with us here today. Zippy, I understand you have a few news items to go through.
Yeah, obviously, the first thing I want to do is shout out to everybody in the community as well, who I had to put up a post yesterday. Basically, I've not been feeling too good. Turned out a 4-centimeter abscess in my tonsil. Doesn't feel nice. It felt like I was swallowing razor blades. I'm not saying that I've tested that, but you get the point. It wasn't good. Fought it for a couple of days, and I gotta say, I thought a lot of people had the everything tag muted, because when I run special events, I get a couple of replies. When it came down to my health, though, you guys absolutely blew me away. So thank you so much for the support there. I do appreciate it. Obviously, things have been a little up and down at Pit Road lately. You know, we've been busy, we've been growing, and we're going to focus on that a little bit. But for all of you who did put an emoji on there, did send me a message, thank you so much. I do really appreciate that. And again, a huge thank you to John for stepping in today as well. Reese for keeping the show going as well. Certainly, a huge thank you to that. But just this past weekend, I was at Kalamoki Motorsport Park. It's about an hour away from Ottawa, commentating yet again on the FEL Motorsports Radical Cup Canada. Now, that is absolutely fascinating. Love that, being out there in the real world. And speaking of which, we got another announcement with that as well. So the next event is going to be August 7th to 9th, and that's going to be Grand Prix Trois-Rivières. That's in Quebec, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not too sure, in Canada. And some more good news there is we're going to be doing, you're not just going to see me for the Radicals, you're going to see me covering the Formula 1600 as well. We already ran out of warm-up as well, damn it. And I have more to say, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what, we'll catch up with it a little bit later. Let's get ready for the grid here in race number 3.
Absolutely. Fantastic news. I mean, I love Trois-Rivières. That's going to be a fantastic event. It'll be great to hear you on the call. But let's go to the grid for that final race here today. Well, it's a progressive grid from race 2, so no need to go through all of it. We'll just stick to the top 10. Kevin Lau, Manuel Hofer are your front row, with Rupesh Panini and Ilariano in 3rd and 4th. Carl Diaz-Castro and Ian Joyner are 5th and 6th, and I think those two will be looking to move forward. Dominicus Conservicius, Jeremy Childers, Anthony Ori, and Brian Lenz are your top 10, and Ori is going to have a lot of pressure behind him. Charles Krasick and Philip Falcon are starting on the row behind. But just a few seconds remaining here on the grid timer. We're about to get this standing start going for the final time here at Tsukuba. Green flag flies, and we are away. A brilliant getaway from Kevin Lau. Manuel Hofer a little bit more sluggish on the getaway, and Rupesh Panini draws alongside him into turn 1, immediately taking 2nd spot. Panini putting himself in the hot seat for taking this race 3 win from Kevin Lau if he plays his cards right. Fantastic momentum from the Indian driver in the number 19, as it looks like a pretty clean start from everyone else as well. Diaz-Castro and Ian Joyner are side by side once again, and it looks like there's been a bit of trouble at the rear of the grid. Dominicus Conservicius, who had a great start, or a great finish in race 2 rather, is now at the very back, Zippy.
Yeah, I think something happened between himself and the 77 there of Jeremy Childers. We'll take a look at that in a few short moments. But right now, Kevin Lau, it's fair to say he's been an absolutely incredible defensive weapon. Let's take a look here, see exactly what happened to Jeremy Childers. He is going to be there in that, there you go, the white and blue car. And just gets a little bit of contact there from Dominicus. And for lack of better words, the number 9 gets absolutely yeeted. And fair play, if I was Childers, I'd probably be a little bit irritated there. First lap racing mistake.
Yeah, that's far from ideal there for him, but you're right. Kevin Lau has had some fantastic form here today. Looks like there may be a bit less distance now between himself and his closest competitors. It's impressive to see that Hofer has managed to stay in the top 3 in spite of it all. Some very frenetic racing on the opening laps, but still got plenty of laps remaining here at Tsukuba for the final race of the day, and Diaz-Castro and Joyner are going to be the ones taking charge, trying to get into that top 3. They've left Ilariano a little bit further behind, but Anthony Ori in the dust at the moment. That's a big move from Joyner to the inside of the final corner. He is piling the pressure on Diaz-Castro. He spent the entirety of race 2 basically up behind that number 7, so I think he's going to be glad to see the back of him if he ends up getting past.
Indeed, as you see the number 7 car getting a little bit of over-rotation there, Joyner able to get up and alongside, fair play to him. But realistically, what these guys are going to hope for, you see Ilariano floating in the background, side-by-side again, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Diaz-Castro has been able to hold on, but for how long? But somebody who we haven't really given too much of a shout-out to is the driver of the number 4 as well, Bas van der Lee. He made it up 11 spots on the last race, which is honestly absolutely incredible. Currently, he's up there, already up 3 spots in P11. But certainly, any driver who can see this battle is going to want them to keep indeed duking it out. As I say that, Zdenek Hamak has managed to make his way up 10 spots on this race. Don't ask me how he's done it in such a short space of time, but these two guys are still absolutely duking out. And it's all right, the more they do, the more that lead pack ahead of them of Kevin Lau, Rupesh Benini, and indeed Manuel Hoffa are going to start to break away.
Yeah, and they're starting to fight amongst themselves as well. On board with Pineni as he is all right on the back of Kevin Lau. And we just saw a flash of it, but it seems that Ian Joyner has finally managed to get past Carl Diaz-Castro. And now he'll try his best to close the gap to these guys. Pineni all over the racetrack to try and find some advantage here over Lau. But, you know, 15 minutes, it's not exactly a long race length, but the amount of laps of the circuit you complete in that 15 minutes makes it seem a lot longer. And I think Pineni may just want to bide his time here. Still has the advantage, does the entire top three. Over everyone else. They've got some time to play with, but Pineni needs to be careful not to enter that wide every single lap. Hoffa's going to try and get up to him. Meanwhile, a bit further back in the field, Michael Cords with a great view of this fight. Zdenek Hamak now making it up 13 positions as he gets up the inside of Norman Rin.
Yeah, this Czech driver is indeed looking to try and check out, ladies and gentlemen. You see there, very defensive up on the inside. And you see there, Michael Cords applying all sorts of pressure as well. He's got Norman Rinner right next to him as well. He's going to go and tuck in back behind. This is about happening in P number 14 overall.
Yeah, lovely stuff. And that's a little bit of a wiggle there from Norman, but he manages to keep it on the straight and narrow, so to speak. Just saw a big puff of smoke at turn 1. I think there was some kind of issue for someone around there, but I think we can leave that for some other day. No, not turn 1. It was the final hairpin that these guys are just making their way through. Looks like a little bit more of a gap that Kevin Lau has managed to draw out over Rupesh Pineni, but look at that lap time from Ian Joyner. New fastest lap of the race, a 58.0. That is faster than they ran in qualifying. Where did that pace come from? The slipstream, obviously, but Ian Joyner is coming, and you better be ready. But Rupesh Pineni wasn't ready for the braking zone there at the hairpin. He's fallen back to third.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the slipstream is absolutely monumental here, especially with a car like the Formula 1600 as well. But certainly, I think Rupesh seems to be I think he's almost like he's a little bit distracted today. Like he's just running a little bit wide. Then again, wide again. And, you know, I do have to wonder if he's fully focused, if he's fully dialed in. But when you got the likes of Ian Joyner behind you, I mean, you could put this man anywhere in the grid and he's going to try and find his way to the podium. He's indeed a former Almeida Racing Academy champion. And certainly there you see they're just a little bit tighter, a little bit more precise and applying all sorts of pressure. But as I think we could agree, Tsukuba, not the easiest track to make moves on.
Yeah, it may have... Oh, no! Oh, okay, that's going to change things. That certainly went wrong. Pineni getting into Manuel Hoffa. And unfortunately, the both of them are descending down the order at a great rate of speed. Looks like Anthony Ori and Brian Lenz also got involved. So, John, I think we might have to stay on this replay. That is the move there. Pineni just a bit too deep into the opening hairpin. And then it looks like Pineni rolled back onto the racetrack, onto the racing line, and that unfortunately took out Anthony Ori in the process. This is why it's always advised to hold your brakes when you have a spin, because unfortunately that ultimately ruined the race of another driver. Here's another view of it. So yeah, you were saying Pineni might have been a little distracted, and clearly, you know, the incident happening, but yeah, I mean there was nothing that Anthony Ori and Brian Lenz could really do about that.
Honestly, I would expect better from the driver, the number 19. Short of a hardware fault, you know, that would be the only saving grace there, but the telemetry will indeed say it all. But right now, Kevin Lau has got an absolutely monumental opportunity, but he's got Ian Joyner behind him. Now, we've seen these two guys duke it out before. Currently, the gap stands about 1.5 seconds. We'll have to see how that develops. As we go on board here with Steve Saunders, the gentleman of the group, and he's definitely got that force feedback turn up. You see every little detail, every little oscillation there being transmitted through that. I'd say that's a Fanatec DD1 from my my amateur gear experience there. But right now, he's got a hard charger ahead of him. Zdenek Hamak currently up an incredible. How did he do that? Zdenek Hamak in the 26, up 18 spots so far, but Steve Saunders pretty much losing the draft at this point. He's going to need those guys to battle it out a little bit harder if he wants to rejoin the pack.
Yeah, indeed he will. But it's worth pointing out, Saunders has had a great run up through the field as well. He is up 7 positions at the moment and rounding out the top 10. We don't usually see Steve this high up the field, so it's fantastic to see him with such great form here today. But every single time he enters a corner, you keep an eye on those mirrors and you'll see, whoop, right there on the left side, Brian Lenz right behind him and looking to take advantage. Lenz has lost 1 position on his starting spot and he wants to obviously sort of retake that. Saunders forced a little defensive, that's contact, and oh yeah, Saunders, you saw he took his hands off the wheel instantly. Direct drive wheels are quite dangerous in contact situations, so he just avoided some wrist injuries there. But yeah, that's far from ideal for Steve. He was having such a good run of things and ultimately rear end contact bringing his run to an end.
Yeah, I could tell you what the emotion was there. If we go on board here with Brian Lynch, you can see there, I think he just got a little bit too late into the brakes, had a bit of a contact, goes up on the inside, and yeah, I don't think Steve was quite expecting. I think maybe a different camera angle for that one. But definitely, Steve Saunders very much caught unaware there by driver of the 32.
Yeah, certainly was, and Brian, I think, was waiting for Steve to retake the position there. Yeah, just not a great run of things from those two. But Steve has managed to continue on in 21st spot for now. Brian Lenz has gone back to the pit lane. So that's going to be the end, I think, of Brian's race. And worth pointing out as well, both Rupesh Paneni and Manuel Hofer have both retired from the race as well. Now we'll turn our attention to Rich Meesters, who, seemingly out of nowhere, a driver that we haven't mentioned in the show tonight, though we do give him a bit of the spotlight in every show. He has managed to make his way up into P6. And Ian Joyner is starting to really pile the pressure on Kevin Lau. We should go to that race lead because it's really on at the moment. Ian Joyner is looking for every move he possibly can on Kevin Lau. And it's all about the exit through this hairpin. Bit of lap traffic ahead of them, Zippy. This could make things complicated.
Yeah, that gap was about a second and a half, just about a lap ago. So I've got to say, Kevin Lau definitely no slouch behind the wheel, and Ian Joyner not looking to hang around as well. Now, I have seen a couple of these drivers there have been pretty much dipping a wheel in the grass just to try and get that little bit of extra rotation. And I've got to wonder, like, Kevin Lau, a potent driver, but maybe not the strongest tracker. You see there, Joyner almost making contact with that right rear wheel. I got to wonder, can Kevin Lau put on the defensive game here? Like, I mean, Tsukuba, quite hard to pass, but the closing rate of Joyner was absolutely insane. Like, the gap between them on best lap, about 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, there's some crazy pace from Joyner right now. You know, even on the last lap, he was 0.3 of a second quicker than Kevin Lau. So he's certainly got the fire in his belly once again, but seems like Kevin is putting his car in all the right spots to stop Joyner from getting the move done.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to come up on lap traffic as well, which could be... we've seen lap traffic have a big influence there on races as Joyner yet again up on the inside, almost making contact. You can see there, almost 3 wheels in the line, 2 of them belonging to Kevin Lau. Indeed, 2 of them, oh my gosh, 2 of them belonging to Ian Joyner. These guys are duking it out incredibly hard here. Got to really, really push the car, as these guys are absolutely fighting tooth and nail for this race win.
Yeah, Kevin Lau's making really good use of momentum around the outside here. It gives him the inside for the hairpin, but Joyner goes a little bit deeper this time, and he manages to complete the move. Brilliant stuff from the number 8, former champion, and showing it. Fantastic stuff. He is in the lead, but now Kevin Lau is the one with the advantage of the slipstream. We'll see what he can do to find his way back past. Still 7.5 minutes to reclaim here in this race and find your way back through. Joyner is now turning on his defense button, I believe, and starting to experiment a bit more with other lines, seeing some problems for Bone Steel and Cruciani back in the field. So unfortunately there's been a few problems for drivers further back, but this battle is just too good for us to pull our eyes away from. It looks like Ian now with about 0.4 of a second on Kevin Lau, and it could start rising, but every time they get to those straights, Kevin's going to be there.
Indeed, he has been the man to beat. Certainly we will give a little bit of a gentle roasting to the Almeida Racing Academy coaches. Now, Connor Bell and indeed Swilly Almeida, we will give forgiveness to, because Connor Bell, I can tell he was currently racing out in Alberta this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Swilly Almeida, he's actually at Suzuka coaching a Ferrari Challenge driver who went from being at the back of the pack to now potentially going to win the championship. So certainly credit where due. We will give them a little bit of forgiveness. Kane Halliburton, I don't know where you are, but by all means, we'd love to see you back and see that Gold Academy car make its way through the field.
Yeah, we've spent a couple of rounds now without any coaches in the field, which feels kind of strange to me. Regardless, the racing is still great. Rich Meesters and Philip Falcon going at it at the moment as they find their way into turn 1. Both finding their way into the top 10. Zdenek Hamak just ahead of them has now made it up 20 positions in the field, which is mighty impressive. Here comes the number 192 machine, Philip Falcon, who has come into this round as the leader of the club class standings. It's certainly not been an ideal points day for him, though. I think a lot of points have been taken away from him today thanks to incidents not entirely of his own doing.
Yeah, certainly Philip Falcon as well. He's never been as strong as this before. He's applying all sorts of pressure right now. As fair play to him, he's currently in P9 overall. As I say that, Misa's getting a little bit of pressure. The Cool Camel is indeed maybe going to be a little bit warmer now. Falcon makes his way up ahead as they go around the final corner.
Nice move, and well, it looks like there may be another nice move on the cards here. He certainly is. Room left to the inside by the 192, and Philip Falcon will stay ahead, I think. He has the inside for the hairpin, still giving Meesters some room to put his car in, but I mean, we saw Ian Joyner make the move around the outside of that hairpin a couple of laps ago. It looks like Meesters almost did the same thing, so this battle is far from over.
Yeah, it's actually, speaking of battles as well, but I'm keeping an eye here on Bas van der Lee, because I do have to wonder, will he be able to find his way up onto the podium as Rich Meesters, again, another one of the senior gentlemen we got here in the Almeida Racing League. By all means, just because they're old doesn't mean they're slow, ladies and gentlemen. If you used to have a steak, would you not want it seasoned? I know I certainly would. You don't want just a bland piece of beef. And if you have it well done, I'm sorry, but you can just hit that unsubscribe button. I know, a little bit controversial, but that's a waste of a steak. But right now, Rich Meesters in the 164. He's definitely had a little bit of a roller coaster so far. And fair play, he seems that Tsukuba has really worked in his favor.
Yeah, Meester's results at the moment are a pair of 13th place finishes, so he's certainly going to make an improvement on that if he stays where he is, but if he can get into that top 8 and maybe try and move forward to Hamak and company up ahead, that would be fantastic to see. But I think Meesters is more than fully focused on the back end of Philip Falcon right now, who's doing his best to make that run himself. 3.5 minutes to go in the race, and well, the battles out on track still very much in play between Charles Krasik and Kyle Diaz-Castro, and Bas van der Lee chasing Ilariano to get into the top 3. It's worth pointing out as well for Bas, he has not had a great day so far. Remember, he qualified 4th for race 1. He ended up retiring from that one, 5 laps down. He recovered to 14th in race 2, and now he's finally making good on his qualifying pace.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to make good onto the podium here, as well as that's almost contact there with Ilariano. Now, Bas, definitely one of the cleaner drivers in the group. He's not one to make a move unless it really is presented to him, and fair play to him. He's managed to stick it up there on the inside of one of our favourite fences. Looks like Ilariano now is going to get attacked by Charles Krasik. Oh, a little bit of a late move there. That's Carl Diaz-Castro getting into the mix as well.
Oh dear, and then it looks like it's now a 5-way fight for third, as Zdenek Hamarka's joined the battle just behind as well. That's very wide for Laureano meanwhile, and the big run from Charles Krasik. Can he find his way past and into P4? Outside line into turn 1 can work nicely, but parking it on the apex as Laureano doesn't let him go. And now Kyle Diaz-Castro is the one to take advantage. Is there room to get past at this hairpin? Not quite. But Hamak gets into Diaz-Castro and spins around, and the incredible run up through the field from Hamak is not going to have a great end, because it looks like that incident just gave Kyle Diaz-Castro the incident limit black flag.
Oh, that is definitely unfortunate indeed. I do have to wonder if there's maybe a couple of tactical off tracks in there as well. Kyle Diaz-Castro very keen to make make some progress here as well, and we've seen him such a competitor as well, such good improvement. But fair play, you just see that the door's open, and I understand why Hamak went in. I mean, the door was open, goes in, but risk versus reward, and it just ended up not paying off for him, at least for Diaz-Castro on that side. As you see, Kyle Diaz-Castro bringing down pit lane for a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, and maybe getting some repairs done as well, depending on how hard that hit was. Such a shame. He's had such great results tonight, but he won't get it in all 3 races. Now here's the battle for what's going to be last position in the top 10. Saranas Bruzga is at the moment chasing Michael Cords for this one, and both of them have made some great positions as well. Cords up 5 spots, Bruzga up 8 spots, and that's largely due to the attrition that we've had in this race. I'm looking at my timing screen, and I am seeing 9 cars, actually 8 cars, 8 or 9 or thereabouts, that are not present on the track at the moment, just sitting in the pits with too much damage. This has been a brutal final race here at Tsukuba. But Ian Joyner, we hadn't checked in on him in a while, and there hasn't really been any reason to. Kevin Lau has not been able to keep up with him since Joyner made the move. He's now in the lead by 2.6 seconds, and back to winning ways. It looks like race 2 was just a blip.
Certainly he is a potent man to contend with, and taking a look here at Kevin Lau and Bas van der Lee, those 2 guys are pretty spread out as well. Right now, the closest battle is indeed we got between Michael Cords and Saranas Bruzga, but it looks like Charles Krasik now trying to find his way for a club class win here against Laureano.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like it's been a great day for the club class drivers. Arnio sitting in 4th spot as Ian Joyner will come across the line here to take the win. It is the end of the race. 2 from 3 today for Ian Joyner. But fastest lap as well again in race number 3. There's Arnio and Krasik. The battle will end up in the favour of the 166 of the Flying Finn, and Krasik getting a fantastic P5 out of that one. He should be very happy with how that's turned out for him. Michael Cords will end up defending from Saranas Bruzga for 10th spot. Last battle on track is between Nathan Safarian and Kemal Kasim for 14th place. Looks like we've had 16 cars finish on the lead lap in this one, and some good speed from Kemal Kasim into the final corner, but Safarian is the one still leading on the way out, so that concludes the fight. And certainly quite the celebration there from Safarian. Kyle Diaz-Castro, having to make a tour through pit lane in this one, is just about to come across the line. There he is. Plop, and across the line he comes. That will make it 2 from 3 today for Ian Joyner. Pair of wins and a 6th place is a great points haul from this one, plus pole position for race 1. He'll finish 2.8 seconds ahead of Kevin Lau, with Bas van der Lee getting onto the podium in the end. Awesome stuff, but it really took him a long time to get back there after the horrors of race 1. Arnio taking the club class win ahead of Krasik and Falcon, with Meesters finishing in 7th ahead of Zdenek Hamak, Jeremy Childers, and Michael Cords.
Saranas Bruzga takes P11 with Marcus Vorpal in 12th. Lance Tamashiro, he ends up taking 13th, actually making his first appearance here at the Almeida Racing Academy. Nathan Safari is in 14th with Kemal Kasim. We saw that battle at the end in 15th. Kyle Diaz-Castro able to pick up a black flag. The only competitor who did look like he had a bit of a hard time clearing it. He takes 16th with Dominicus Consavicius taking 17th. Todd Bonesteel, without a doubt the toughest name on the results board. He takes 18th with Darren Sharples, a fellow Englishman, in 19th with Norman Renner in 20th.
In 21st place, Josh Nessel, 7 laps down. Alfredo Cruciani in the next position behind. It was also retirements from Stephen Saunders, Brian Lenz, Anthony Ori, Manuel Hoffa, and Rupesh Pineni. So, unfortunately, some drivers did not have their best races here today. But we're certainly looking forward to having a chat to the likes of Ian Joyner once again. He joins us now. Congratulations, Ian, a pair of wins today. Race 2, it seemed very difficult to make those moves back up to the front, though.
Yes, definitely. The nature of the track, really, it's hard to overtake, even when the car in front's got clear air, but when they're in the draft train, but very, very difficult to get any overlap. I had a few little opportunities, but Kyle was doing a great job, and yeah, made a couple of spots up. I think the way things worked in the feature made it a little bit easier because the pack broke up a little bit. But yeah, it's a really, really tough track to pass on.
Yeah, it certainly is. But once you got up to the front in races 1 and 3, there really wasn't any looking back. Do you think that the clear air was the main thing that gave you that advantage?
I think it made it a lot easier. Certainly, the fight with Kevin, I'm sure, would have been much harder. But I think Kevin was in a good spot in front. Yeah, we were just starting to chat then about what he could or couldn't have done to make it a bit harder. But yeah, for sure, when the car in front hasn't got draft, it's still not easy. But it's a lot easier than when if you're chasing the car with a draft. It's just you've got to get that overlap, and the straights are so short here. Yeah, there's very little time to do it.
Well, regardless, another great run of results here today, and the championship lead should be maintained out of this one. We're starting to get into the second half of the season in a couple of rounds' time, so you're in a great position right now. Congratulations again, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Ian Joyner there. And then we'll move to Kevin Lau, who finished in second spot in race 3, taking the win in race number 2. Fantastic run of results again, Kevin. It looked like we were talking to Ian about how valuable clear air was here today. Did you find the same thing?
I thought it was really hard leading, actually, to be like right when I started leading the first couple laps of race 2, I had to recalibrate a little bit, but I guess with Ian's pace, maybe clean air makes a little bit more difference. I could barely hang on to a slipstream, so I had a little bit of an opposite experience, I'd say.
I see. Fair enough. The F1600 is a challenging drive at Tsukuba. It's a car with no downforce around a track like this must have been quite difficult to handle.
Yeah, it's the camber, the like little bumps and crests, and like the going offline and such. It's really punishing, and I feel like maybe I don't have quite the right brake sensitivity, or just missing that little extra couple tenths to Ian, so I gotta go figure out what's going on there.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck with that, Kevin, but still, you must be very happy with how things have gone here today. Hopefully we're talking to you again next round.
Yeah, sounds good. See you around.
Kevin Lau there, and finally, it looks like, Zippy, you've caught up with Bas van der Lee, who had a long road to get back to the podium.
I gotta say, Bass, it definitely wasn't the day that you wanted it to be. It certainly started with a great qualification. Race 1, not your favourite, fair to say. Race 2, fantastic charge through the field. It did go notes. And then race 3, able to find yourself back on the third step. Bass, take us through the roller coaster of that evening.
I wasn't thinking that I was be able to talk to you guys after these 3 races, because
Alright, kick him out.
Well, it was a small mistake, and I'm very glad I didn't ruin Kevin's race, and just my own. I'm good with making a mistake. If it's just affecting me, then I can accept it. And well, then you're in 24th or 25th, starting way back, and the only thing you can do is just wait and try to pick off people one by one if you can. The pit parties really help because we practiced overtaking, which is not really easy at Tsukuba. And left and right, some people tripped up like I did. And, well, eventually, you got to move forward. You got to try to move forward. And at the end, well, we're here on the podium, my first feature race podium, so there you go.
Oh boy, Bass. Certainly you're getting a lot of cheering in the YouTube chat as well. Jake N's
Thank
definitely
you.
a fan. Jake N's, I got to say, without a doubt, Pit Road Productions' #1 fan. But Bass, it's always a pleasure to see you here in the interview booth and to see you doing well as well. We're heading over to VIR for the next round now. Tsukuba is not a princess-approved track. I know John Wright is very much in love with it, but for me, VIR is a much stronger venue. Do you think this is going to be something that's going to be beneficial to the driver of the #4?
Tsukuba is one of my strongest tracks normally. Well, you wouldn't say so because of the accident, but normally it is. We'll see at VIR. It was good last season in the MX-5. I just hung around P5, 6, 7 there. We'll see what we can make of it, but that last corner at VIR, the hog pen, it's so hard to get right, and it leads to a straight. We'll see. We'll practice hard and see if we can get it right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Leon Bentbelsen was not present this week, so our favourite Dutchman, the driver of the #4, Mr. Bas van der Lee.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Fantastic stuff. Brilliant driving today from Bas in race number 3. Just makes me wonder what could have been in races 1 and 2 if he hadn't gotten involved in the chaos. Regardless, that is going to bring to an end the racing and interviews portion of the broadcast. But before we go, a little quick shout out to the Almeida Racing Academy. Still has merch on sale. It's off pre-order. The Almeida Racing Academy and livery. Really excellent clothing on display here today. If you want to pick yourself up a t-shirt, a cap, or a 3/4 zip, just head on over to the website and you can get your order in. Certainly feel like I could do with that 3/4 zip right now. It is a little bit chilly down here in Perth, Western Australia. It's also worth noting that, well, you can still join the Almeida Racing Academy. How to get so fast, your friends ask if you're cheating. Ain't that the truth? Fantastic coaching service, best in the business, and it's a real honor for us to bring it to you here on Pit Road Productions. Zippy, I understand that you have a bit more to say about what's coming up.
Yeah, certainly one of the things I've been doing over with FER Motorsports. Indeed, they just literally about a week ago now, they announced the FER Pathway Award. So certainly this is more for the Canadian drivers, but basically they are going to pick someone competing in the Canadian F1600 Championship, sponsored actually by Toyo Tires, and basically give them a scholarship to FER Motorsports Radical Cup Canada for the season, so their entry fees will be covered. Now, I'm not going to say the exact number of what that's worth, but we'll say it's comfortably 5 figures. So certainly, if you are competing in the real world, power to you. We'd love to hear from you, especially as well. One of the things we have been thinking about here on Pit Road is, we've got so many drivers who compete in real life. I want your guys' input on this. Let me know in PM on Discord, or let me know in YouTube comments. I don't mind how you can email me if you like. Actually, I don't have the email set up. Let's skip that one for now. I changed the domain service. But I want to know, is this something where we want like a 2-weekly kind of podcast kind of deal with something like this? Like, give me your feedback, guys. I'd love to hear from you. But certainly now looking forward to seeing more Canadian talent come through in that side. Certainly Parker Gill, a little bit disappointed it didn't happen a year before. He's literally just made that transition. But fantastic stuff here over in the real world as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And worth pointing out, we also broadcast BIS Sim Leagues here at Pit Road Productions, and there's a lot of connections to the Canadian motorsport community in those series of leagues. On Thursday, actually, will be Thursday for me, Wednesday for you guys. The next round of the Clubine Motorsports GT Championship. So if you're looking for something else to watch this week here on Pit Road Productions, certainly go for that. We also have plenty of other shows coming up. Just make sure to hit that subscribe subscribe button if you haven't already. That's going to bring things to a close here on Pit Road Productions and the Almeida Racing Academy channel. A huge thanks to all of you for once again being a part of this great journey. My name is Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me for race 3, John Wright behind the controls in the producer's chair, and being with me for races 1 and 2. We'll see you all next time.